It's now my privilege to introduce our guest speaker to address Convocation this afternoon, Mr. Ken Murphy. Ken Murphy is a media executive with more than 25 years of leadership experience in Canadian specialty television and is the president and co-founder of High Fidelity HDTV, a Canadian-based specialty broadcaster. Ken's wealth of experience in senior leadership roles covers virtually all areas of television, including business development, channel distribution, ad sales, marketing, engineering, operations, and interactive media. Ken founded High Fidelity HDTV, Inc., anticipating two emerging trends in Canadian broadcasting, high-definition television and the boomer audience. And of course, both are prevalent. Prior to his venture with High Fidelity HDTV, Ken had a lengthy television career with both TSN, the sports network, and Discovery Channel Canada, parent company Netstar Communications, holding a number of positions, including Director of Operations for TSN and President of Discovery Channel Canada. A pioneer with the TSN management team, which developed and launched TSN in 1984, Ken was an integral part of one of Canada's first specialty services and its most successful. He went on to lead the operational and engineering teams which designed and built one of Canada's first all-digital major broadcast facilities, which became the future home of TSN and Discovery Channel. With Netstar Communications Inc., with Netstar Communications Inc.'s acquisition of Discovery Channel, Ken was named Vice President, Production and Administration, and became President in 2000. He was one of the key executives responsible for Discovery Channel's launch and subsequent enormous success in the Canadian media marketplace. Ken also served as a long-standing member of Loyalist Television Program Advisory Committee and acted as its chair for 2 terms. A comment that Ken made, this is from Dean Jane Harrison, who advises us that a comment that Ken made at one of the advisory committee meetings led to the development of the current television and new media program when he said, "What we need are graduates who are trained as generalists but particularly good at one thing." Well, that's what we do. Ken lives in Toronto with his most understanding wife, Paula, and their sons, Alexander and Brian. Ken is a graduate of our television broadcasting program and was also a member of the Loyalist College Board of Governors from 2003 to 2006. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming our guest for this afternoon to address Convocation, a distinguished Canadian, Ken Murphy.
Thank you very much, President Piercy, for such a kind introduction. As mentioned, I'm a graduate of Loyalist College, class of '79, and I'm a proud alumnus. And maybe you'd expect me to say that here today, but what I really want to say is I love Loyalist College. Loyalist College believed in me and restored my confidence twice, 20 years apart. Now, normally I don't like to talk about myself, but I'll do so today to explain how Loyalist College and how subsequently a few key people in my career have helped me along the way and have been so important in my life. The first time Loyalist College was there for me, it saved me, was back in 1977. I was a rock and roll drummer touring around the wilds of Quebec. The truth is, I was a mediocre drummer. I was a pot-smoking drummer. And I was completely lost and depressed. I was also feeling very unwanted in Montreal at the time as an English Canadian during the period of the language and culture wars of the 70s. And when I finally admitted to myself that I didn't have the chops to make it to the top of the rock and roll drumming world, I decided to do the next best thing. And that is to go to, I don't want to say it, Fanshawe College to study music recording arts. God's truth is, we were driving down, my girlfriend and I were driving down the 401 on the way to Fanshawe College, and we were running low on gas. And we pulled off to fill up at Belleville. And my girlfriend at the time urged me to check out Loyalist College. She said they have a studio production program there. While we're here, you should drop by. You should check this out. Well, I was reluctant, But nevertheless, I showed up here, unannounced one day, and to my surprise was met with open arms. And to my even greater surprise and astonishment, I was conditionally accepted. And when asked if I wanted to tour the facilities, I said, of course. Imagine my surprise when I realized that studio production was in fact television studio production, not the recording studio program that I thought, and that I had assumed. Oh, well, I thought, so much for that. We got back down on the 401, and I promptly failed my audition at Fanshawe College. Now, I have to tell you, this was a low point, and I was lost. And it was my girlfriend who at the time believed in me, honestly, more than I believed in myself. She told me to go for it. Open yourself to change, give TV a try. You might like it, you might even love it. 35 years later, she was right. I'm so glad she pushed me and believed in me, especially at that low point. This is a recurring theme, by the way. Others believing me at critical times, sometimes more than I believed in myself. And so this is how Loyalist College helped me for the first time, welcoming me with open arms into a positive environment full of wonderful people. And it was a positive experience that set me on a whole new career path. The point of this story is that for me, and I suspect for many of you, during times of big change, big sudden change, it's critical to listen to people who believe in you and who want to help you. After I graduated from Loyalist College, I joined a new pay TV business that everybody said was sure to fail. Now, I have to remind you, back in the late 70s, there were 4 television channels on the air, and they were all free. And everybody said no one would ever pay for television. Well, the company I joined was called Star Channel, and it was Canada's first pay TV company. You've probably never heard of this company, and for good reasons. We went bankrupt after 9 months. All those people were right. Ouch. That was a rough start after graduating from Loyalist College and feeling so positive. But a short time afterwards, a fellow I had worked with oh so briefly at Star Channel called me, and he asked me to move to Toronto to join another new pay TV company, and in a management role, no less. Everybody said this new channel would fail as well, and hadn't I learned from my previous experience? It was called TSN, and maybe you've heard of that channel. I was offered a big job way out of my depth and my comfort zone, and I was offered that job because that individual believed in me, once more than I believed in myself at the time. I took the risk, I moved to Toronto, I listened to a believer and a supporter, and I was open to the possibility that a pay TV company might actually work, even though I had just been burned by one. And I opened myself to the possibility that I might be able to lead in a management role. Well, I had a great run with TSN for over 11 years, growing as a person and growing professionally, as the channel became the powerhouse that we know today. I remember thinking that I might end my career at TSN. And out of the blue, a woman I barely knew, I only knew her by reputation, she literally tapped me on the shoulder and she said, "Have you seen that executive position posting?" And I had, and it was completely out of my zone. I wasn't that person. I wasn't an executive. I didn't know about that documentary production stuff. That channel was called Discovery Channel. At the time, no one had ever heard of it. Well, Ms. McQueen, who tapped me on the shoulder, saw something in me I wasn't able to see myself. She urged me to take the risk, change direction, get out of my comfort zone, and her words, "Go for it." She believed in me, once again, more than I was able to believe in myself at that time. Fast forward, after a little bit of hard work, maybe a lot of hard work, within a few years I was president of Discovery Channel, and I was at the top of my game, once again, feeling pretty good, feeling comfortable and successful. Then the company running TSN and Discovery Channel was sold, and then everything changed, and it changed suddenly. Without warning, I was fired. I didn't fit into the new ownership's game plan. And this was after 19 years of dedicated service to TSN and to Discovery Channel. I had a big salary, I had a big title, I had health benefits, I had a pension, and an instant, it was all gone. And I had a young family to support. Ouch, for the second time. And this is the second time Loyalist College was there for me. Literally a couple of days after I was fired, and I was still in shock, Dr. Aul, then head of Loyalist College, called me out of the blue and asked me to join the Board of Governors. And I pointed out, I'm not qualified. I don't have governance experience. And frankly, I'm no longer the big-time media executive you thought you were calling. In fact, I'm unemployed. Well, Dr. Aul listened very carefully and quietly, and he said he wanted me, not the president of Discovery Channel. So once again, at a time of great turmoil and uncertainty, Loyalist College was there for me. The pattern repeats. And within a year or so, I decided to head out on my own and start my own enterprise to develop several new pay TV channels, this time in high definition. I had no experience starting a company from scratch. I'd always been an employee. Along with a partner, we searched for several years to raise the capital from investors who would believe in our vision and believe in us. It was the hardest thing I ever did. And in those early years of High Fidelity, it looked like we were sure to fail. We were doomed. And I had many days of despondence and depression. I could only see the long odds many days, and the barriers, and the reasons it won't work. I was in deep, and I was way over my head. I had bet the house, I had bet our meager savings, and I had bet the kids' college fund. This time it was my wife, Paula, who could see something that I couldn't see. She believed in me. And oftentimes she believed me with a very pointed wag of her teacher finger, I might add. And believe me, that gets my attention. But the pattern repeats, somebody believing in me at a low point, like Loyalist College had done twice before. She urged me to face my fears and believe in myself and believe in success. Well, today, High Fidelity is a small but successful media company. We have about 50 full-time media staff, including many Loyalist grads, I'm proud to say. We operate 4 great HD channels. I won't give you a commercial. Oasis HD, Nature Channel, Hi-Fi Music and Art, RadX and Adventure Channel, and EQ HD and Ideas and Culture Channel. And what I'm about to say is not bragging. We're so successful. This past December, my partners and I recently sold the company for $85 million. I don't say that to brag. I say that to tell you dreams can come true. And when people believe, and you focus, and you work hard, anything is possible. And sometimes it's hard to remember that. And I suspect many of you, dare I say most of you, will have those kinds of moments ahead of you. So you might be thinking Ken Murphy has this recurring problem with self-confidence, especially during times of great change, and you'd be right. But if I can leave you with anything on this special day, your graduation day, it is this. Loyalist College and your hard work have prepared you for a bright future and new careers. Well done, all of you. But I predict that you'll need to zig and zag more than a few times in your career and in your lifetime. Sometimes the change will be sudden, and sometimes it will be scary. It's at these times I urge you to remember to be open to people who support you and believe you. Reach out, or at least listen. When the chips are down, they may see something in you you can't see yourself as you cope with the noise and confusion that's baked into career and life change. So that's why I love Loyalist College. I'm a proud grad, but I use that word very, very carefully. I love this place, and I hope you do too. Oh, and by the way, I'm still a rock and roll drummer. I'm still mediocre, but I love it. And thank you for listening to my story. Thank you, Loyalist College, for being there for me not once, but twice. And congratulations to all of you on your graduation day. Best wishes and good luck to all of you.